Welcome to the Metro North, the joint Metro North and Long Island Committee meeting. Susan Sarch will introduce our public comments.
Good morning, everyone. As a reminder, each public speaker will have 2 minutes to speak, and there is a clock in the front showing the 2 minutes, and we ask that you keep your remarks down to 2 minutes. In addition, please wear a mask throughout your comments. Please keep the comments on throughout the committee meeting and during your speaking. We have 3 speakers this morning. The first speaker is Jason Anthony.
Good morning, Commuter Rail board members. Jason Anthony from Amazon Labor Union. We start a new week with good news for those who rely on Metro North and Long Island Railroad, that the city ticket will be kept at $5, and off-peak fares will be kept until February of next year. I think we should consider extending off-peak fares until a more extended period than February, because right now we are in a period that people are paying more for things, especially in this period of time. And we want to people use our commuter rail, especially tourists that come from out of town to visit New York City and use our airports like LaGuardia and JFK. So why not consider offering the Long Island Railroad from Penn Station and Atlanta Terminal, Brooklyn to Jamaica in an affordable price, like the Atlanta ticket option, and offering it 24/7 from Penn Station, for instance, an affordable price. But we will talk about it in finance. So see you guys later in the following meeting.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Murray Bowden, who will be speaking first in reference to the Long Island Railroad Committee, and then second in reference to the Metro North Committee.
You made me very aware this morning that there are rules to follow, and I was expected to follow those rules. Well, I feel the same way about Metro North. At the Roaring Brook crossing, there is a red box to indicate, don't block the box. The Federal Highway Administration, Section 3B.17, do not block the intersection. Standard, if used, do not block intersection markings, shall. Shall means required, no deviation. Consists of one of the following alternatives: wide white lines that outline the intersection area that vehicles must not block. And it repeats.
Excuse
White
me, Mr. Bowden,
lines.
if you could have your mask cover your mouth and your nose, please, we'd appreciate that.
Say that again, because I can't hear when you talk through a mask.
Understood. Could you please have your mask cover your mouth and your nose, please?
This is not going to be about my mask. It's
Thank
going
you.
to be about firing and replacing, because it's an illegal act. And she told me to cover my mouth. I tell you to get that painted white. And if you don't, you are creating a safety hazard and an illegal. And you want me to follow the law? And you're creating a safety hazard by using, oh, we like red because Colorblind people can't see red. That's why there's a cross that's red and an arrow that's green. They see the shape, not the color. It's your responsibility to get it fixed, not mine anymore. Now, for the Long Island Railroad. 2 minutes. Put up 2 minutes. Thank you. Can't think of your name. The railroad crossings you have there in East Hampton, there's 6 of them. When a train goes by, nobody knows which of the 6 crossings are being sounded for. So it's your responsibility to have the gate sound the horn, not the train. There are electronics on the gate. There are electronics on the gate that flash the lights and bring the gate down. Those same electronics can sound a horn at one crossing, so people throughout the town of East Hampton don't hear the train whistle. I know what the federal book says. This is global warming. We cannot do things the way we used to do them. I can't make you do it. They can. And if you don't make him do it, you're responsible for that crossing. You're responsible for not implementing global warming. Global warming means we have to change things and do it differently. And whether you believe it or not is not my problem. Just go read the papers about everybody else in the world changing. This is a small lesson. Phil, thank you. Phil, it's time. Please do it.
Our next public speaker is Kara Girl.
Good morning. I'm Kara Girl, Research and Communications Associate at the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTA, PCAC. It's certainly been an interesting year, even as the who, where, and when details of ridership continue to evolve. Next year promises even more uncertainty as we wait to see whether businesses will require greater in-person participation and what those schedules will be like. The railroads must be adapted to changing ridership trends and needs without a crystal ball, but with good predictive forecasting abilities and nimble practices in scheduling. As we've consistently said, the best way to bring riders back on board is to incentivize them with travel options that meet their needs. It means luring people out of their cars by making trains more attractive than driving, increasing service during peak, off-peak, and shoulder of peak times to meet demand, and adding train cars as needed to reduce crowding. It also means Freedom Ticket, discounted rail fares in the city with transfers to subways and buses, as has already proven successful with the Atlantic Ticket pilot program. For suburban riders, it means adding 20 trip tickets with 20% discounts with a longer expiration period to allow greater flexibility. We expect to hear more about pilot fare options today, but it's hard to predict what's coming when committee books aren't posted at 6 p.m. on the Friday before meetings. Getting riders back on board is critical to the MTA's fiscal future. Ensuring the success of these pilot programs will contribute to that future. One way to ensure that riders buy in is to make sure everyone knows about them. Shout it from the rooftops. We have new, cheaper ways for you to travel faster. Or, like Ballpark Franks, get your cheaper rail tickets here. Put them on e-tix and Omni and have signs plastered around stations and on TVMs. Don't assume riders will know what they're entitled to, or hundreds of thousands will overpay. Making it easy for people to buy tickets will be the best way to measure the success of the pilots. And if Freedom Ticket isn't included, don't worry, we'll be back. It's an idea whose time has come, and riders and the MTA will benefit. Thank you.
Thank you. There are no more public speakers.
Thank you. The summary of actions, there are none for Metro North or Long Island Railroad, and for C&D Capital Development, you can find them on page 5. I'd like to make a motion for the approval of minutes from the November 15th committee meeting. Thank you. The minutes are approved. The 2021 work plans, Metro North, Kathy.
Thank you, Chair Herman. Please note that there are the following changes in the Metro North work plan for this month. Number one, the EEO quarterly report for Metro North is not included in this month's committee materials. I've been advised that there will be an MTA-wide EEO report provided by the Department of Diversity and Civil Rights later today at the Diversity Committee meeting. Beginning this month, the monthly capital program report for Metro North will no longer be included in the committee materials and will instead be provided by C&D staff at the CPOC meeting later today and at CPOC going forward. Number three, the monthly financial and ridership reports for November are not included in this month's committee materials and will be instead presented at the January committee meeting. And finally, for this month, the Metro North and Long Island Railroad survey results that pertain to the customer satisfaction and COVID study that was offered last month at the board meeting are included in this month's committee materials as information. That concludes the changes to the Metro North work plan.
So similar to Kathy, the EEO plan is not in this month's book. The staff summary for the 2021 November forecast, final proposed 2022 budget, and financial plan for 22 through 25 is in the book as an information item, and no other changes to the work plan.
Thank you. The agency presidents and chiefs reports for Metro North will have the safety report be given to us by Shelley Prettyman.
You want to do my report first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we'll have to have these presidents.
Okay.
report.
Thank you. Good morning. Before beginning my monthly report, I'd like to take a few moments to mark the recent death of a member of the MTA family. Dick Bernard was one of the very first employees of the MTA when it was created in the late 1960s, and he went on to assume the role of general counsel at New York City Transit, Long Island Bus, TBTA, MTA headquarters, ending his career as general counsel of Metro North. The only agency that he did not serve as general counsel was Long Island Railroad, and I have to say that that was Long Island Railroad's loss. Dick was unflappable and incomparable, the quintessential general counsel and a friend and mentor to many, including myself. We talk all the time about how many retirements are happening at the MTA and how much institutional knowledge is walking out the door. That said, it's pretty rare around here for us to be able to say after someone's retirement that this place will never be the same without them. Dick was one of those rare people. This place has never been the same without him. All of us who knew and loved Dick extend our deepest condolences to his family. And can I please have a moment of silence in his honor? Thank you. Second, I just want to provide the committee with a brief update on yesterday's service disruption on the Upper Harlem Line. At approximately 10:20 p.m. Saturday, at the height of a rain and windstorm, a southbound train carrying 17 customers apparently struck a falling tree near Croton Falls Station, shattering the front windshield and causing 2 transmission poles and signal and traction feeders to fall onto the train. We were able to dispatch a locomotive to effectuate a rescue of the customers on the train relatively quickly, and customers on a northbound train that was held at Golden's Bridge were able to find alternative travel arrangements, so there were no customers stranded as the result of this incident. Our crews responded quickly and worked through the night and into the morning to clear the wires and stabilize the poles, to arrange for a bus shuttle from Southeast, and to create a service plan between Grand Central and Golden's Bridge. The power department handed both tracks back over for regular service at around 1:30 yesterday afternoon. We'll need to get out there to make permanent repairs sometime during this week. I'd like to thank everyone who responded to this remote location in the middle of the night, to assess the damage and effectuate repairs, and I want to thank everyone who worked so hard to keep our customers moving while the repairs were being made. It was a really terrific team effort. Finally, a few words about the Penn Access project. We've been working hard on advancing Penn Station access, which, as you all know, will bring Metro North New Haven line service to Penn and add 4 new stations to the East Bronx. This new service is a game changer for Bronx residents and also for Metro North customers in Westchester and Connecticut, who will have direct access to the west side, saving up to 40 minutes per day. MTA C&D is working around the clock on the procurement to get it wrapped up and before the board as soon as Wednesday. And this includes hammering out a deal with Amtrak, since much of the project is on their existing right-of-way and involves Amtrak infrastructure. Senator Schumer has been driving the effort to get a deal in place, and he has an announcement scheduled at Penn Station later this morning. We very much look forward to that and, of course, moving this and other important projects forward. Okay, so that's all the preliminary stuff. Now let's go on to my monthly report. November service delivery highlights. East of Hudson service operated above our goal at 94.8% OTP. Year-to-date is above goal at 97.1%. Our lower than usual performance in November was largely attributable to train delays from our seasonal slip-side rail conditions, which were caused by leaves that coat the rail with a slimy residue and impact railroad operations throughout the Northeast. We're conducting a year-end review of this year's performance during the fall in an effort to identify ways to improve our performance during slip-side season next fall. West of Hudson, November service operated below the annual 94% OTP goal at 91.2. Year-to-date is slightly below goal at 93.1. With respect to Waterbury branch, we've got great news for those customers. On November 20th, in partnership with the Connecticut Department of Transportation, we activated positive train control on the 27-mile Waterbury branch following the completion of the new signal system that I reported on last month. Now the entire Metro-North system is online with this modern way of monitoring and controlling train movement across the region. The Waterbury branch had previously been exempt from PTC because it lacked the underlying signal system. The successful installation of the new signal system on the Waterbury allowed us to bring this final segment online for PTC, while also giving us the ability to provide more service on the branch in the future. I want to thank the Connecticut Department of Transportation for being great partners throughout this project, and I'm excited for our Waterbury branch customers to be able to reap the benefits of these projects. While we were working on the PTC project and the signalization project, there was some other important infrastructure work that was accomplished. Over 13,000 rail ties were replaced to keep train tracks in a good state of repair. Sidings were added where trains can pass each other at Derby, Beacon Falls, and just south of Waterbury, which allows the possibility for increased train service and provides more operational flexibility to reduce congestion. Now I'd like to provide an update on the ongoing work on the Hudson Line to repair the Dobbs Ferry culvert that was damaged during the aftermath of Hurricane Ida. The C&D contractor has completed replacement of a portion of the culvert that carries one of the 4 tracks at this location, and our crews subsequently installed the track infrastructure so that we could put the track back in service at the end of October. Construction work is now taking place on the 2 express tracks in the middle, tracks 1 and 2, which includes pile driving to support that portion of the new culvert. Our MW crews will then install the tracks, third rail signal, and PTC infrastructure so that the 2 tracks can be placed back into service. The contractor will then begin to work on the portion of the culvert that carries the final track, track 4, and that will be followed again by our crews who will restore the track infrastructure. While all this work is underway, 2 of the 4 tracks will remain out of service, which results in some train congestion between Greystone and Tarrytown. Whenever possible, we are performing this extensive work during the day in an effort to get this project completed as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, some of the work has to be done at night when there's less train service, and we certainly realize that this can be noisy. We anticipate the work being completed in February. We appreciate the patience of our Hudson Line customers and the communities that we serve while C&D and their contractor completes this important restoration project. And I want to thank our MW team and C&D folks for their ongoing efforts and coordination to get this work done soon. I'm actually going to jump ahead because I've got a lot of remarks here. Can we just move ahead? This is the winter prep. I think you don't get to do winter prep maybe next month, Warren, because we've got a lot going on here. Let's just go right to Fleetwood. Okay, Fleetwood. Our forces were busy this fall improving the station environment at Fleetwood with a needed coat of new paint. I was out at Fleetwood, this is a station in the city of Mount Vernon, during a Mask Force event over the summer. And as you can see from these before and after pictures, the bustling station was very much in need of a refresh. It's important as we welcome more and more riders back to our system that our stations are inviting, that we give our customers the best possible experience when they return to the system. The Structures team got on this project right away, and I really want to thank them for their great work at Fleetwood. Their next painting plan for the year includes the Mount Vernon West station, so we're looking forward to seeing comparable improvements at Mount Vernon West. Speaking of our employees, towards the end of November, we held our annual employee recognition event where we honored 4 winning teams with our Team Excellence Awards: the COVID cleaning team, the PTC incident team, the Undercutter project team, and the vaccine team. I've seen each of the 4 teams representing various departments in action, and I want to commend the selection committee on their decision to recognize these groups among the 30 applications that were submitted. Two of the teams, the COVID cleaning team and the vaccine team, were created in response to the pandemic, and the important work that these teams have done has created a safer environment for our employees and our customers. The selection of the PTC incident team and the Undercutter project team sends a very clear message that Metro North has not lost its focus on delivering projects that keep our customers safe and our service reliable. I'm proud of the work of all four teams. Their work stands as a testament to our commitment as part of our Way Ahead strategic plan to providing safe and reliable service and an excellent customer experience, despite the many challenges that we've been experiencing over the past 21 months. Just some highlights about our ridership. Our focus continues to be on restoring ridership, guided by the initiatives in our Way Ahead plan. Preliminary observations using passenger counts and load weight data indicate that November ridership was actually more than double the ridership in November 2020. All lines appear to have increased by more than 100%. Ridership is up 45.2% since we changed schedules at the end of August. Currently, our ridership is about 50% of pre-COVID levels and has flattened a little bit over the last couple of weeks, which is not unexpected, with offices having established their return-to-work policies for the fall that are going to continue through the holidays. We expect offices will revisit these policies after the holidays with a requirement for more workers to return to the office. Weekend ridership remains strong, with an average of 80% of pre-COVID ridership on most weekends. Earlier this month, we announced that the seating availability feature of our Train Time app, which allows customers to see an approximate percentage of seats available in each car of an approaching train, has now been expanded to Google Maps. The feature first became available through the Train Time app in November of 2020 for most of our electric trains on the Harlem and Hudson lines, and we've since expanded it to all east of Hudson lines. Through this collaborative effort of teams at IT, Metro North, and Google, it's now even easier to get access to real-time seating availability. And finally, I just want to talk a little bit about our holiday service. As a thank you to our customers and to get those who've been missing the trains back on board, we continue to offer plenty of deals and discounts for riders. Customers can take part in an MTA Away with discount ticket packages for holiday-themed events, including the Holiday Train Show at the Botanical Garden. Off-peak fares remain in effect through the end of the year, so customers using single-ride trips and 10-trip tickets can benefit from savings up to nearly 40% of the normal price, depending upon distance traveled. We're offering extra service for the holidays, beginning with early getaway trains on Thursday, December 23rd, and special holiday service to keep our customers moving and enjoying all of the holiday attractions around the region. Finally, as was mentioned by some of the public speakers at Finance, we will be discussing the new discount packages that will be going to the board for approval on Wednesday. These include a 20-trip instrument at a 20% discount, a 10% discount on monthly tickets, and city ticket for $5 during the off-peak, and this is true for both Long Island and for Metro North. I want to conclude my remarks by thanking all Metro North employees for their tireless and heroic efforts during yet another tough year. I appreciate their continued dedication to providing safe and reliable service. And I want to assure our customers as they travel throughout the region this holiday season, we're going to do our best to be able to keep them safe throughout the region. On behalf of the entire Metro North family, I want to wish everybody a safe holiday and a happy and healthy new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Now we'll have Shelley Prettyman deliver the safety report.
Good morning. Metro North Safety Report can be found on pages 31 to 34 of the committee book. The FRA reportable customer accident rate stands at 1.79 for the 12-month reporting period ending October 2021, which is up from 1.20 in the prior reporting period. And the FRA reportable lost time employee injury rate stands at 1.91 for the 12-month reporting period, down from 2.12 in the prior period. There have been no grade crossing incidents, no mainline FRA reportable derailments, and no mainline FRA reportable train collisions for the reporting period or the year to date. Employee safety training hours are at 163,985 for the year to date, and community outreach contacts are 14,300, that's for the month of October, and 177,314 for the year to date. I want to note that Metro North conducted our annual FRA emergency preparedness exercise in Grand Central Terminal on Saturday, December 4th. The scenario for this exercise was a train evacuation during a citywide power grid failure. The scenario required assisting passengers from a stranded train in the Grand Central Terminal train shed to the platform with limited or no house lights, and it included the relocation of a passenger in a wheelchair. A combination of live actors, thanks to our assistant conductor trainees, and mannequins were used to simulate passengers, and the exercise and training took place over a 2-hour period. So first and foremost, I want to express our sincere thanks to FDNY Division 3 Battalion 8 and EMS and MTA PD for their participation and support. These exercises are really important because they give us all a chance to work together and test our procedures outside an actual emergency. A full after-action report will be developed, recommendations reviewed, and any improvement items will track to completion, of course. And this particular exercise was set up to evaluate internal and external communication and notification procedures, as well as interactions with customers and communication among first responders within the scenario. And it also gave our partners at MTA PD, FDNY, and EMS with an opportunity to familiarize themselves with our train equipment and the train shed. So again, our thanks to them for their participation. And I also want to thank all the Metro North staff who contributed to the preparations and the exercise. This was really a full team effort, including transportation, maintenance of way, GCT building maintenance, maintenance of equipment, operations training, security, and system safety. So that concludes the report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. We now have the President's report for Long Island Railroad from Phil Ng.
Thank you, Rhonda, and good morning, everyone. We have no procurements this month, but I'd like to thank MTA and Sarah Meyer for the full customer survey, which is also in the book. It helps to confirm what we've been observing and that we're moving in the right direction. And the picture you see here on the screen was sent to us by the mother of 8-year-old Gabrielle Aguiar, a fan of the railroad and quite an artist. Gabrielle is a third grader at Cordello School in Central Islip, and my spirit's always lifted when I see the enthusiasm of our youth. For as long as I can remember, there's always been a certain love affair with children and trains. They are our future, and I feel good knowing that Gabriel and others like him will one day step up and be future leaders. Gabriel, thank you for making my day. Opening up the new Elmont station last month, our first new station in more than 50 years, was a true mark of the times to come for Long Island Railroad. Thousands of new riders now, finding that many options between Elmont, Queens Village, and Jamaica to travel to UBS Arena, with so much more to come in 2022 when full Elmont service, Eastside Access Grand Central Terminal, and the new mainline third track are all in place. And I'm confident that our riders will quickly learn and adapt to a new Long Island Railroad. So what I'm showing here is not tic-tac-toe, it's not shooting ladders, but it's a series of coordinated switch replacements, removals, and upgrades for Queens interlocking, mainline expansion, and Elmont Station that are all vital to these projects and will enable us to better serve future needs and travel patterns. The Long Island Railroad team of engineering, transportation, and service planning, through numerous iterations, streamlined and improved the original plan, enabling us to fit this into a very constrained track outage plan. Imagine performing this switch work while supporting outages for third track, Elmont, and Eastside Access, and then throw in the fact that we're running over 200 daily trains through these work zones. And I'm showing this because so much of this is invisible to the public, and from a rider's perspective, that's a good thing. From my perspective, nothing short of amazing, the amount of planning and execution from my managers and the workforce to ensure that we deliver on our commitments and are able to continually improve. This, along with renewing and hardening of our infrastructure, is an essential piece to the future of Long Island Railroad and our ability to serve this region. So let me stress, the amount of work that we've gotten done over these past few years is unmatched. And in the midst of a global pandemic, we pushed ourselves to find a way to provide service, deliver record work in a smart and safe manner, performing aggressive state-of-good repair work while supporting ongoing major capital construction projects along major corridors of our system. None of this would be possible without our workforce. They continue to deliver so that Long Island can have a great commuter rail service that our region needs to thrive, giving the public a reason to return. Riders want safe, reliable, on-time trains, and what we're doing is giving them exactly that. I'm confident as 2022 approaches, we will see continued growth. But today, I'd like to focus on the resurgence of Long Island Railroad service, putting 2021 in perspective, outlining how far we have come and how we will continue to deliver better service for the ridership. In 2018, our on-time performance was the lowest in 20 years. Each successive year we have improved, and I can confidently say that we've completely turned that around. Safe and reliable trips is vital for existing customers to get riders back. Long Island Railroad Forward was a framework and a mindset to address high priority infrastructure affecting service. We've made tremendous progress and we're not stopping. We're leading the way, reducing grade crossing incidents and saving lives. We're instilling a sense of urgency to fix things now, addressing the root cause, avoiding delays, and saving dollars. Proactive and planned versus reactive measures. Maintaining track infrastructure. Record accomplishments in this work. Thousands of welded rail joints. New switches across our infrastructure. New track infrastructure. Surfacing turnout. Aggressive rail grinding. Increased Sperry testing. And as the numbers demonstrate, it's paying dividends for us. Our broken rails continue to go down, and it's paying dividends for the riders. And while we've successfully replaced many low clearance bridges to address bridge strikes, I want to allow everyone to know that to allow time for future major projects in the future, we needed to give our managers more tools in the toolbox. After analyzing the most frequently struck bridges, we're able to rank and improve our responses. And additionally, while we have inspectors respond, the use of cameras and telltales allows us to further safely speed up restoration of service. Avoiding and mitigating bridge hits, keeping trains running and riders moving, and streamlining response and decision-making means less delays for our riders. Getting customers to the destination safely and as quickly as possible. Using real-time data to streamline operations and response time. And as we begin winter prep, we know that weather events are more frequent and severe. We know that we can't stop Mother Nature, but we can mitigate the impacts to service and our riders, and we're doing just that. And while we're still in the midst of low adhesion season, our multi-pronged approach is paying dividends. How do I know that? Our November on-time performance of 95.31 is the best November in our recorded history ever. And while I know Mother Nature can still throw us a curveball before we close out 2021, we are on pace to deliver our best single-year on-time performance ever, and that doesn't happen by accident. We will continue to balance aggressively and timely maintenance and state of good repair to support ongoing and future capital work. We will not get complacent. I'm proud of my managers and our workforce who have risen to the challenge and continue to deliver despite the pandemic. So watch out, Long Island Railroad is better than ever, and I want to wish everyone a safe, healthy, and happy holiday season. Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
Phil, it's Kevin. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, thank you for the report. Two questions. When it comes to Harold interlocking, the puzzle piece you put up there, it really is amazing that all the work happens and while the trains still go forward. But will all the Harold interlocking work be done by the end of 22 when East Side Access and third track should be complete and in operation? Or will some of the Harold interlocking work continue into 2023?
So all of the Harold interlocking work that's needed for opening day, that will be completed. There is going to be additional work beyond 2022 that is needed to further improve how trains move through Harold and mitigate some of the increased traffic through Harold. Rob, do you want to add
Got it.
something?
Kevin, I think the map that was up there to support third track was Queens interlocking, just to be clear. And that work, as Phil had mentioned, is on that target. So it was Queens interlocking that was showing with Elmont and supporting third track.
Okay, you know what? That's where I was confused between Harold and Queens. Thanks. And then Phil, when it comes to ridership, as we head into the Christmas season, the last 2 weeks of the year, a lot of people just don't go, into the office anyway. And then the first 2 weeks of next year, people may be hesitant, like there's been this Thanksgiving surge. Who knows what's going to happen with the Christmas surge? How are we going to be able to compare numbers, with sort of a unusual end of the year when maybe an uncertain beginning of the year? As we go into the January meeting, will there be a way to sort of distinguish those aspects when we try to compare whether ridership continues to grow?
So obviously we've been keeping records of the ridership last year, this year. November, actually, we had some of our highest days since the pandemic, reaching 58% at the end of November. I think nearly 167,000 riders on that day. It does fluctuate day to day, though, but we're consistently averaging in the 55% range, 52. It varies from day to day. We expect December to kind of flatten out, maybe January as well because of the holidays, but we also expect that we will continue to see growth come later or early 2022. We're prepared for that, Kevin, but we'll be able to monitor ridership as we've been doing throughout, and we're consistently working with and keeping in contact with businesses and watching what they decide to do, so we make sure that we're ahead of them.
Great. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Phil. Any other comments? Okay, we'll have the Long Island Railroad Safety Report from Lori Ebbinghausen.
Good morning, everyone. Our safety report can be found on page 35 in your book, and we're reporting on our safety performance for the period ending October of this year. For our average reportable customer injury rate, this year it was 3.56 injuries per million compared to 5.18 over the same period last year. For our average reportable employee lost time injury rate, we stand at we went from 3.25 to 4.04 injuries per 200,000 hours worked. Of note, in November, 2 activities for employee engagement. Under the leadership of Linda Katz, we once again partnered with our fellow service providers in Penn Station to do our Customer Safety Awareness Day. And under the direction of Demetrius Vardulius, we did an recognized National Elevator Escalator Safety Week in November as well. So we continue to focus on ensuring that we're engaging with customers and focusing on their safety and their well-being. With that, I'd like to wish each and every one of you a good health and a happy, safe holiday, New Year, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. We do not have a C&D report this month, and we will have our MTA police report from Chief McGran, who I believe is online. Is he? He was, yeah. Out there.
Good morning.
Sorry, Chief.
My name is Assistant Chief Gary Behan. Chief McGran, I believe, is tied up in another meeting. He was unsure if he was going to be able to step in. But as far as the MTA PD report, crimes in our system continue to be skewed because of the pandemic. We have an increase of 16 crimes year to date versus 2020, but we're down 62 crimes year to date versus 2019. What we are very concerned about is the felony assaults against our employees, where 9 police officers are injured while making arrests and 7 railroad employees are injured in disputes with customers. We were able to make arrests in 32 of those incidents, but that still doesn't lessen the seriousness behind it. Other customer concerns were increasing our train patrols to make contact with the conductors, increase the police presence on the trains. We were given an initiative to ride every peak hour train on both railroads, and we are doing such. Within 1 week, we will have a police presence on all those trains, so that hopefully will minimize a lot of what's happened in the past. Burglary shows a significant increase this year, but 7 of the 29 burglaries and grand larcenies are attributed to the northern region, which is Grand Central, Rite Aid. The district attorney, when someone is issued a barring notice and they re-enter, the district attorney wants to keep a felony burglary charge. So unfortunately, that pushes our number up, but we have to do it to ensure that we prosecute. 9 of those burglaries committed by one person in particular, and he's in Rikers Island on his way to court today. So we'll see what happens with him. The grand larcenies are attributed to unattended bags and credit cards that were stolen, contained within those bags, people falling asleep, and so forth. And then since the last committee meeting, Captain Dominici in District 1 met with Senator Boyle, representing Babylon Station, and the plans to address the issues that the station has been having, including lighting, cameras, coordination with village code officials. They've been very helpful. The code enforcement officer has been extremely helpful with us. So they're having a meeting this afternoon to discuss further resolutions to the matter and bring in possibly State Liquor Authority personnel to help us with alcohol sales in the neighborhood and the adjoining area. So hopefully that will mitigate a lot of the issues that we have there. And that is basically what we have to report.
Hey, Rhonda, it's Kevin again. Chief Bean, please thank Chief McCran for me because I did raise the Senator Phil Boyle request to re-examine the Babylon issues last month, and thank him for and your team for looking into that.
Will do. Yes, sir.
Thank you. We'll now have our information items for Metro North. Kathy?
Thank you. There are 4 items presented in the agenda book in accordance with the work plan, and then 1 additional information item this month. The first is the 2022 final proposed operating budget, the staff summary for the 2021 November forecast, the final proposed budget for 2022, and the 4-year financial plan for 2022 through 25 for Metro North Railroad is provided in the committee agenda book as an information item. There is no action required today by the committee. The items will be further discussed and voted on by the full board on Wednesday, December 15th. Excuse me. The second item is the 2022 proposed Metro North Committee work plan. The draft work plan was coordinated with the Long Island work plan for consistency and reporting to the committee. The 2 changes from this year's plan are as follows. The monthly capital program report for both Long Island and Metro North will now be presented at CPOC and will no longer be presented at the joint committee meeting. The C&D procurements will no longer be presented at the railroad committees. They will only be presented at CPOC. The committee will be asked to approve the final work plan in January. The third information item is the diversity EEO report. Due to continued update of workforce information resulting from transformation and the need to reconcile individual agencies' data agency-wide, all reporting of agency-wide diversity workforce data will be provided by DDCR at the Diversity Committee. Once the new census data is available, underutilization analysis for all job groups will be conducted, and agency-wide utilization percentages will be provided. DDCR expects agency-specific data to be provided in the first quarter 2022 Diversity Committee book. With respect to the review of the committee charter, last month the Corporate Governance Committee met and reviewed all operating committee charters. At that time, the committee approved charter revisions to align consolidation of C&D procurements as reflected in the Metro North Committee charter that appears as an information item on today's agenda. There are no further changes recommended to the charter at this time. Lamont Kearse, who's MTA's Chief Compliance Officer, is present if you should have any questions about this, the committee charter. As I mentioned earlier, Metro North survey results pertaining to our customer satisfaction and COVID study offered earlier this fall and presented by Sarah Meyer at last month's board meeting. They are included in this month's committee materials as information. Pat Imbro, the Senior Director of MTA Strategy and Programs, and her staff are available if you have any questions about these survey data. And that concludes the Metro North information items.
Any questions, comments? Thank you. We'll have Phil do the Long Island.
Well, similar to Metro North Diversity and EEO report, will be provided. The data will be provided in the first quarter of the 2022 Diversity Committee book. With regards to holiday service, Long Island Railroad will be having early release trains, extra trains for the holiday season and getaway programs. Track work plans are in the book as well. Mentioned earlier about the 2021 November forecast as an information item, the final proposed 2022 budget, and the 4-year financial plan for 2022 to 2025. All of that is in the book as an information item, as well as the similar customer survey done by MTA, which is comparable to all the other agencies, and that's also available in the book. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, we'll go on to procurements. Metro North and Long Island Railroad have none. And MTA C&D.
Thank you. Good morning. Construction and Development has 1 procurement action being brought to the Metro North and Long Island Railroad Joint Committee this month. The item is competitive and requests approval to award a publicly advertised and competitively solicited contract for design-build services for the Long Island Railroad Queens Interlocking Signal System to Hitachi Rail STS USA Incorporated for the amount of $31,319,480. This contract provides for the design, fabrication, assembly, delivery, systems integration, and testing of a new signal system for Queens Interlocking, including pre-wired central instrument locations, auxiliary huts, track cases, switches, signals, and auxiliary equipment. I submit this item for your consideration and vote.
I make a motion to approve the procurement. A second. Thank you. Randy. So it's moved.
That concludes our procurement this month. Thank you and have a happy holiday season.
Thank you. The agency reports on operations, finance, ridership, and capital program are all in the book. And that concludes our joint railroad meeting this month. Wish everyone a happy and safe holiday season and a happy new year. Motion to adjourn the meeting. Second by Randy. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.